Darkness. It's all you can see down the damp, gritty cave. Ominous noises echo from afar. Your torch hanging on by the burning embers at the tip. You cautiously venture further into the darkness and hear a voice. Hello there, my spooky ghost gamers and haunted people of the world. I am Haunted Hyrule Gamer, and welcome to my 2020 Halloween special. What's that you're asking? What's in store? Well folks, we've got trick-or-treating, ghost stories, and for the next 8 to 10 minutes or so, 3 truly horrific, terrifying, and haunting things that could make the sequel to Breath of the Wild darker than Majora's Mask. The idea is actually inspired by Mr. IGL Numa himself. The Zelda series producer once said, the new Breath of the Wild, or the sequel to it, it's not necessarily going to be related to Majora's Mask or inspired by it. What we showed you currently is a little darker. A subjective quote, but one that indicates this sequel could potentially be very dark. Be sure to go grab yourself a trick or treat of a snack and send them in on social media to get featured right here. And let us now delve into the 3 most horrifying, blood-curdling, and all-round scary things that could make the Breath of the Wild sequel darker than Majora's Mask. One of the most scary things from The Legend of Zelda growing up for me was the more freaky, weird, and scary boss battles. The likes of the demonic Yeti, Yeta, the ancient demon trapped within an ancient blade, Death Sword, and the most terrifying of them all in my childhood, and to some degree still right now, the arachnid nightmare fuel, Armagoma. These types of bosses have been lacking in the series over the past few installments, with Skyward Sword taking a more lighter approach, and Breath of the Wild flipping the entire Zelda formula upside down. Going into Breath of the Wild 2, I think that it's time we see the return of some freaky bosses. We don't quite know how bosses will be implemented into the sequel yet, but it's safe to assume that they'll be there in some form or another. With that, in order to make this game darker than the Zelda game of darkness itself, Majora's Mask, I think we need 2 key types of freaky bosses to return. Firstly, a demon boss. We know the sequel appears to have a slight focus towards the spirits within Luminous Stone, and spirit energy in general, as seen in the reveal trailer. I think that this could open up the opportunity to introduce us to some sort of demon trapped within the Luminous Stone. It's a bit of a bold shout, but something that could definitely be possible. I'm thinking in perhaps one of the game's dungeons, or even just somewhere underground, we run into some corrupted luminous stone, or something along those lines, as we know they are believed to contain the spirits of the dead. My idea would be that perhaps a demonic spirit somehow got within it, a 1 in a million scenario, and that Link is the unfortunate soul to come across it and release it, thus beginning a boss fight against a demon. We know design-wise, the Zelda team can make enemies scary, and going off Death Sword, another demon, I don't doubt that this could be done again and made even scarier. Along with that, I feel the game should also include some sort of arachnid beast. For me personally, these are the absolute most terrifying bosses in the entire series. Just the sheer size of them is frightening, and if we could see anything like what we saw in Twilight Princess's Temple of Time, we will be in for a fright. I mean, just look at some of the original concept art of the Guardians in Breath of the Wild. Look at the hair on that thing. I have no doubts that Nintendo could apply this to a gigantic spider to create one of the most modern, to date, terrifying Zelda bosses. Moving on to something jumpy. Jump scares, within reason. Nintendo games aren't typically known for being in the horror genre, or even just being seen as scary games. There are a few exceptions, such as Majora's Mask and to some degree Luigi's Mansion, but those games didn't really have many jump scares. It would be something a little new to the Zelda series, aside from a few odd occasions such as the Shadow Temple from Ocarina of Time. But given the focus on the importance of the underground in the sequel, I see this as a perfect opportunity to throw in a few jump scares here and there. My idea would be that whilst travelling through the forgotten caves of subterranean Hyrule, we would occasionally be spooked by an undead being. Perhaps Redeads? That idea takes me back to the days of playing Ocarina of Time late at night and being absolutely terrified by the sight of a re-dead, especially the ones in the tomb of the royal family. I mean, going grave digging as a child is already kind of freaky, but to do it in the tomb of the royal family and then see these things? I don't quite know how to explain it, but the thought of exploring the underground of Hyrule and having a re-dead burst out of the rocky walls or damp ground would scare the living shit out of me. Oh, and that terrifying scream must return. Before getting into my final treat of the night, here is an honourable mention. Dark Link. I was trying to avoid making this a list of enemies I'd like to see return, as I could honestly make it, as there are some bloody terrifying enemies in the series, but I just couldn't not mention Dark Link. The iconic shadowed mirror image of Link is one of the most mysterious and evil beings known to Hyrule. All we really know is that Dark Link is a shadowy monster that knows Link move for move, arguably his toughest opponent aside from Ganon himself. I don't even know how Dark Link would fit into the sequel, but just seeing the foe return would be so awesome and definitely add to the darkness of the game. Hell, even a fight against Dark Link in the dark. How amazing would that be? Now, for our final pick. Something that made the likes of Majora's Mask so dark, twisted, and emotionally overwhelming is the, well, emotional twists the game has. The land of Termina is doomed. People are in all sorts of different states. Denial, fear, anger, sadness, and despair. This game got emotions right. It really added to the experience and feeling that you are really in a world that's falling apart and nobody actually knows what is going on for sure. If you played this game out without the emotion of the characters, it would be seen so differently. It's very overshadowed, but emotions are vital to creating a feeling or mood, and the sequel to Breath of the Wild could greatly benefit from doing this. The obvious route to go in my head is to include some sort of emotional twist between Link and Princess Zelda. From the little information we already know, we know that the pair will be a lot closer this time around following their reunion after sealing Calamity Ganon. Finally, we will see just how they feel about each other whilst also working to uncover one of Hyrule's darkest secrets. Call me an overthinker or overplanner, but I would love to see towards the end of the game, after Link and Princess Zelda have rebuilt their relationship, strengthened their trust, and truly are at their closest again, for Princess Zelda to be taken. This idea is inspired by this particular shot from the sequel's trailer, when we see Princess Zelda falling as the rock below her collapses. Perhaps not this particular shot, but I just want to see a huge emotional twist where the pair are broken apart. When we think all is finally well and good, something bad happens, creating a new quest for Link, Save the Princess. She's down in the dark, deep caves of Hyrule with no one to help her, no light, no hope. Link must save her. It might not be on the darkest side of things directly, but this would definitely toy with my emotions and really get me on the edge of my seat. An emotional twist. Thanks a ton for watching my Halloween special this year. This was all in good fun for the spirit of Halloween, so don't take my suggestions as fact. These are just some things I think would make a good fit to make the game darker. Let me know down below in the comments what you'd add to make the sequel as dark as possible. Huge thanks to all of my wonderful supporters on both Patreon and YouTube. I love you guys so much and cannot thank you enough for the support you give me. If you'd like to help support the channel and get your name featured at the end of all of my videos, a shout out upon joining and more, then consider supporting on either YouTube or Patreon. Again, thanks for watching, and until the next time, I've been Hyrule Gamer.